This video covers data evaluation of linear relationships, which is the third part of the basic laboratory techniques on page 17 of the manual. Using page 19 and 20, we will see a systematic approach to evaluate linear data by plotting a graph. 12 student groups will generate a set of data as shown on the board here. Your instructor will choose 5 data points, which will be collected and organized as a table on page 22.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Transfer all those 5 pieces of data to our page 22. That's an empty little chart. So what you're going to do is you will simply 40.28 and then 14. All right, and then 27.40 and then 9.8, 18.03 and then 6.4, 13.09 and 4.7, and the last piece of data 6.75 and 2.4. All right, now I also worked very hard while you're doing yours. I generate my own piece of data. All right, if you examine your math data, there are 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 digits after the decimal point. However, if you look at your volume, there are only 2 significant figures, because all of us needed to understand what is decimal point, what is significant figures. This is 2 significant figures, but this is 4, 4, 4, 4, but this is only 3. Right next to page 22, you should have a piece of empty, unused graphing paper. All right? The way it is right now, like so, it's what we call the portrait. All right, portrait. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down, 10 rows. All right. Now, however, if you turn this 90-degree either up or down, like so, you will see you have 10 columns. All right, 10 columns, but only 7 rows. Why do I mention this? Well, that's because number 1 thing you needed to do to generate a useful graphic or efficient graphic is to choose the orientation. All right, to orientation. Then now we have a problem. How should we do? Well, your page 19, as what I said before, tells you the do's and the don'ts. And then you should now look at number 1 principle to guide us to generate a great graph. It's to include the highest data and then capture the lowest data. All right, that's how you do it. So we're going to first use the one, our given orientation, which is the so-called portrait. And to set, if we use this, because you are told to use X as our volume. And then our Y as the mass. So we're going to see, all right? For our purpose, our mass, it's never a problem, whether it's a portrait or our landscape, because the highest is 40.28. So if we have 10 here, 20 here, 30 here, 40 here, no problem at all, right? Oh, hold a second. Wait, don't get it just yet, all right? 40. And then this is 10, this is 20, this is 30. However, let's see if we can satisfy our volume. Our volume is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, no good. No good. And then we satisfy the lowest, but we cannot satisfy our highest, the 14. We can't even satisfy the 19. All right, so portrait, it's out. Let's do our so-called landscape. Same thing. If this is the volume, and this is the mass, and then if this is a 0, and then we have a 10 here, 20 here, 30 here, and 40 here. Well, if we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, still, we ended with a 10, not 14. So this is also no good for us. Now we have a problem. Now we have a problem. And that is the reason you need to digest your page 19. All right? And then we tell you now your so-called increment 1 is no longer suitable for this graph. We need to change to either 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, so on and so forth. All right, and then page 19 also tells you do's and don'ts. 1 is good, 5 is good, 10 is good, 100 is good, but 3 is no good, 7 it's no good, 9 it's no good. I will tell you why very soon. So if we choose 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, great, 16, and then 18, so on and so forth. So that it's very, very good. All right, so now we have it. But examine your data points before we go on. All right, the mass tells you something very important, and which I pointed out before. It's not a 10, it's not a 20, it's not a 30, not a 40, but 2 digits after the decimal point. Therefore, you needed to have you cannot arbitrarily decide to drop all those zeros. All right, and then you can see before 10, all the pieces with 1, with 1, with 1, and then after 10, 14, without it. So that's it. Well, I'm just making this up. It's not in the real situation you will see this, all right? In the real situation you will not, as a matter of fact. But I'm going to just point out, all right? And that is our setups for today's your work. Then we're going to use our page 19 and to start our graphing work, all right? And our page 20 and 21 are the samples. Page 20 is a sample of by using page 19, and then page 21 is the result of our page 20. Before we start our homework, I would like all of you digest page 20, 21, and the page 22, and result of page 22, all right? So pay attention to each single blocks, all right? Each single blocks, here, or this one, or this one. It's right here, all right? This one is also divided into 10 columns and 10 rows, all right, for our work. So we're going to start our first piece of data. And then in volume, it says 14. No digits, so it's right here. Look at volume and then locate it to where 14 is. And then go straight up, all right? It can go anywhere. So you have a ruler, just keep going. And then if you don't have a ruler, simply follow the line. Go up, all right? This one is easy. However, our math says 40.28. So it passes 40, but below 50, all right? Pass 40, below 50. And then you should see if this is 40, this is 50, all right? Right here should be 41, 42, 43, 44. 40.28. It's not 41 yet, all right? If this, it's 41. So your 40.28, it's right here, all right? If this is 14 for the right, so it should be right here. All right, so now we're going to locate the 40, and then you're going to do a so-called dash line and vertical right here, and then that will be your 40 point. Make sure it's not 42.8, it's 40.28. In other words, not even 41 yet. Make sure that's a common mistake students make at the beginning of the class. Second one, it's 9.8. So in other words, it is past 9, but below 10. So it is right here. Remember, if, so I'm just keep adjusting this, all right? If this is a 9, if this is 8 right here, if this is 10, your 9 should be right here, right? How so?